welcome back to the Blossom Crochet channel. I just wanted to talk about this yarn with you. Now, the title of the video is absolutely true, but that is not the fault of the yarn itself. This yarn is absolutely stunning. It is so beautifully soft. I absolutely love the way that it looked, hence why when I saw it in the shop, it practically launched itself into my basket because it was just stunning. I absolutely adore the yarn, and obviously the name of my channel being Blossom as well, I'm always drawn to anything which looks like little flowers and things. So this is the King Cole Yummy yarn, and it is a fluffy chenille based, chenille type yarn, and it's just, oh my gosh, I can't even describe how much I love this yarn. I just absolutely think it's one of the most beautiful yarns I've seen in such a long time. And the thing that drew me to it obviously is the thought of creating a beautiful baby blanket that looks like it's got these gorgeous roses throughout. And I really thought that I would be able to recreate something like that in crochet. There was a beautiful knitted pattern in the shop made up with this yarn, and I thought, I'll give it a go. Maybe it will look just as great crocheted. So I bought quite a lot of this yarn, to be fair, and I have tried so many different stitch patterns now, and I cannot find anything so far which looks like I would want it, how I would want it to look. So I'll just do a very brief talk about the yarn itself, and then I will talk about the stitches that I've tried, and then we'll go from there. So as I say, this is the King Cole Yummy. It is a chunky yarn and it recommends a 6mm hook. It is incredibly soft. It is honestly absolutely just fantastically soft. It really is wonderful. And these are 100-gram balls, and you get approximately 120 meters. Now, this is the shade Sherbet Rose, which is that gorgeous blue, and then we have got the shade Pink Rose, which is white with the roses on as well. Now, these aren't very cheap. They are just over £4 a ball, and I purchased 4 of each colour to work up, a relatively small sort of baby blanket sized project. So obviously if you were doing a bigger blanket, you would need much more than the 4 balls. But these aren't the only shades. There are so many shades of this which would work wonderfully for crochet, and I'm definitely going to get some of those. The shades that really jumped out at me on the website were the Battenberg, and also there was one, like I think it was called maybe Tutti Frutti, which was all rainbow speckles, and that would work up beautifully because it wouldn't matter where those colours sat in your project, so they would work wonderfully. However, every stitch I tried with this, the pattern itself, the little rose pattern, just got completely lost, and so you would never be able to tell that they were meant to be like little roses on a white or a blue background. They just looked completely merged into one. It really didn't look particularly great. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head all of the different stitches. I started off with a moss stitch because I thought small stitches quite close together might work out quite nicely. No. I tried the fluffy cloud / blanket stitch. Didn't like it with that either. I then tried rows of double crochet, treble crochet. Didn't like those. And I also tried a couple of different Tunisian stitches, thinking obviously, they're quite like knitting, and I still couldn't get it to look how I wanted it. I did try it in a granny square. Again, it didn't, I thought, try something in the round, but again, it just really didn't, I just wasn't feeling it, I sent photos to my mum, and my mum was saying, oh, they're all really nice, what's the problem? But once I'd explained that, it just wasn't bringing up the lovely roses like I thought that it would. She was like, oh, I see what you mean. So yeah, these ones I would say are definitely ones for the knitters out there. They work up amazingly knitted, and I'll show you that in just a second. So just to show you the difference, this is what it looks like when it is being worked up, and this is obviously knitted. So it is the difference between how the yarn works up and the effect that you get is really quite obvious when you compare it to how it worked up in my crochet samples that I tried yesterday. So you can see when it's knitted, you really get that obvious rose worked up, which just looks lovely. But sadly, I couldn't find any particular crochet stitch that would replicate this at all, or anything even like this. So I do think it's definitely one, especially in these two particular colourways, the rose colourways, that will work best for being knitted. So I just wanted to show you this example here, because I know obviously some of you are able to do both crochet and knitting, and my lovely mum is the one who's making this up, and it's working up beautifully. If you've got a suggestion for another type of stitch that I could try that might make these beautiful little roses show up, then please do let me know in the comments, or if you've made something with this yarn. Like I say, there are others where you're not trying to make little roses out of them, so there are other shades in this absolutely beautiful yarn that I'm definitely going to get to make up some other lovely blankets, because the colour placement won't matter with the other yarns, whereas like I say, these ones are supposed to be beautiful roses.